Well, audibletrial.com/talkitout, where you can have access to over 180,000 audiobooks and get a free audiobook download. Sign up now for a free 30-day trial. audibletrial.com/talkitout. Also, don't forget to like us on Facebook, facebook.com/talkitoutpodcast, and instagram.com/talkitoutpodcast. So let's get right to it. Today we're minus one host
member.
Yeah.
KT.
She's over there grinding, making that cheddar, making that fetty,
making more cheddar than all of us together, really.
Yes, but she will be back. She will be back. So yeah, it's just Joy and Gabby for this episode, but we're gonna make it work. And we didn't want to skip out this week because we knew we had to talk on this stuff because it's very important. So the title of this episode is "Thanks, White People, and Is Society Becoming Too Soft?" Now, the reason the first part of this title, "Thanks, White People," is because, as you know, the flaming hot Cheeto has become president-elect.
Don't blame the white people.
Yes, I do, because look at these statistics.
I don't.
This I'm going to read out to you that I got from the Pew Research.
Oh.
Now, guess what?
Uh-huh.
White women with no degree, 62% of them voted for Trump. White women with a degree, 45% voted for Trump. Men with a degree, 54% of white men voted for Trump. White men with no degree, 72% voted for Trump. Black people, on average, I think they said 98% of black women voted for Hillary Clinton. 88% of black men voted for Hillary Clinton. So on average, if we're going to get like a little average going, it was around 90% of black people voted for Hillary Clinton. So, and knowing that we are the minority, we pretty much didn't even have a play in this election. The reason that Donald Trump became president is because them white people came out there and they voted for Donald Trump.
Not even that, but let me tell you some statistics of my own that I memorized off the top of my head.
All right, let's go.
Now, what I looked at was a lot of the swing states. They were so close, literally. Yeah. But literally, like in one state, it was 37 to 38. He won by 1%.
Yeah.
So those people first of all, those people in those states who didn't vote, I blame you. Second of all, those people in those cities who wasted your vote and tried to protest into, that was just.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing.
But good job on voting, no?
But listen, here's the thing. Because you're saying the people that didn't vote. How do you know them people wouldn't have voted for Donald Trump and it would have been an even bigger lead? How do you know the people that voted third party weren't going to vote for Trump?
Because the people who did vote, let me tell you, this is how this works.
Okay.
Not economically or statistically. I'm talking about socially. This is how this works. The people who didn't vote are the ones who sit there and complain about how he ain't gonna do nothing. He just a so-and-so blah blah person. And then they say, well, you know what? I'm not gonna vote because they both bad. Okay, well, you let him win because you wasted your vote. First of all, you did. You wasted your vote. Because
you're saying that they voted third party, but I'm saying, how do you know they would not have voted for Donald Trump? So they actually
but they wouldn't have.
How do you know?
The whole purpose of voting third party is because you don't like either
But
candidate,
I'm saying,
right?
if you're telling them, well, you need to go vote, how do you know them people that voted third party, if they were to vote, weren't going to vote for Donald Trump?
That's what I'm telling you. Okay. Listen, because the whole purpose of third party is because you don't like the two, right? Now, I don't like the two. Let me go with the independent. Name some of the independent qualities. Go ahead.
What do you mean independent qualities?
Like, you know how they say...
The policies?
Qualities, my bad.
Therefore, weed being legalized.
Hillary Clinton.
No, she was not going to legalize weed.
Well, we could have pushed it to her.
But no, because
we could have pushed it.
It's a two-way issue, because here's the thing. What I've seen is, Gary Johnson, he was a libertarian. Now, libertarians are like Republicans who just want to smoke weed. So Gary Johnson actually had more votes than Jill Stein did. And Jill Stein is more of the progressive candidate. So you could say, okay, if you voted for Jill Stein, they probably vote for Hillary Clinton. But the way that the statistics shows is Gary Johnson had more votes. So if you would have told them people to vote, they would have just voted for Donald Trump.
Okay, well, maybe I'm wrong. I'm
just saying the blame should not be on them.
It should be. They wasted a vote. It should be. Regardless of whether or not you believe in something, you still wasted a vote. Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
No, they didn't, because here's the thing. Because if Hillary Clinton would have won, you would have said, I thank those people.
No, I said it before when I thought she was going to win. They wasted a vote simply on the fact of the matter that if you vote a third party, you're not voting for the ones who are really in the race. That's like me. Okay, if I bet, what do you call it? Race horses. And Little Rainbow, he always comes in last. But Johnny Steingood, he coming in first, and Hillary Hill, she come in second. Why in the world would I bet on Rainbow?
But it's not that obviously.
It's betting on Rainbow.
Because these people are voting. They obviously don't think, I'm finna cast my vote and Jill Stein is finna become the president. No, it's not about that.
It's a protest. If you're why are you protesting?
And I think no. I think this was a good thing. Because here's the thing, because I'm going to give you some more facts on this. Donald Trump, he's already gotten into office, and most of the stuff he campaigned on, he's not even going to do that. So here's the deal now. So the Democratic Party now, because Hillary Clinton was like their poster child candidate.
I don't know why.
She's been pretty much born into politics. She's been working in politics for almost 30 years. She has the money. She has the influence. She has the corporate money. She has Wall Street money.
She just wasn't a man.
She can appeal to the women, and she appeals to minorities. So here's the thing. Now the DNC,
white men.
They're going to have to revamp their whole thing, because politics as usual did not work this election. That's why Donald Trump won. Politics as usual,
I was gonna say that too.
Jeb Bush would have probably won. So now they have to get to this point where now they might go the wrong road, and they might say, well, now we have to appeal to the poor white vote, the poor white man, and that can go a certain way.
What they didn't do is appeal to the media. They didn't appeal to social media.
Yes, they did.
No, they did.
Yes, they did.
Let me tell you something. Donald Trump, he is such a clever man. I don't like him at all, but he was very clever this election. Everything he did, whether it was good or bad, was what he posted it himself or somebody from his.
He didn't post it. No, it was the media.
Somebody posted it. I'm talking about his Twitter. I'm talking about his Twitter,
they're crazy stuff. Yeah,
his Instagram's accounts, his whatever.
But Hillary had the same thing
everywhere.
Hillary had the same
but
thing,
not to the same thing.
Yes,
he played on his. What do you call that show he does? Apprentice credibility, and everything he did was like a reality television show.
I don't think.
And when I think when you're appealing to today's society, television and the angry person, that's what they want.
But I'm telling you, Hillary Clinton had all these young people on her staff. Every day she was posting on Twitter. She was making little cute videos.
What's she doing?
She had YouTube
don't nobody
things.
Want cute videos?
No, but I'm saying she was trying to get the young people. But go back to the statistics. She actually did get the millennial vote. So she did that right. So now what I'm saying is the DNC now, since she did not win and she was the person that was supposed to win, they're going to have to revamp their whole thing, and maybe they'll end up going a little bit more progressive for progressive policy. I don't think Michelle Obama is going to run.
No, never.
But all right,
but it would be great. Kanye West 2020.
No. Anybody, please let Bernie Sanders get another try.
Oh, please.
Please let him get another try, because he would have beat Donald Trump. And I think if they do it again after Donald Trump, he messes up and stuff. And
I like Bernie Sanders and his policies. Then I just don't think he's gonna last. Like Hillary and Donald, they just too much.
What?
It's too up there in life.
What are you saying? Anyway, let me go to this other point. So we talked about the results, and we talked about how, you know, black people as a whole, they showed up and they supported Hillary Clinton, so they can't put the blame on us like they always try to do. So now since Donald Trump has become president, he's the president-elect, people have started protesting. And they've been protesting in the streets. I think this is day 4 of protesting. And a lot of the media, conservative media and moderate media, have been saying that the protesters are being babies and they need to just suck it up. And they need to come together and just unite and try to root for a good presidency for Donald Trump. And I would just like to
presidency for Donald Trump. Is that verbatim or you summing it up?
I'm summing it up.
I was about to say
they're just saying we should hope for the best, and we need to come together. Like we did with
Bush, and look what that got us.
What I'm saying is the hypocrisy, especially of Fox News, when when Obama first became president, they had folks protesting with Obama like dressed in Muslim garb, him hanging from a noose, like all this crazy stuff. The KKK was roaming the street.
And they just supported it. Fox News just went like supported them. They didn't say anything about
nothing condemning. We
should give them a chance or anything. They just reported.
They said. And they're still saying, as soon as Obama becomes president, we're going to do everything in our power to make sure he gets nothing passed. And that's what they've been doing all these 8 years. And now they want the Democrats to come together and join and just kumbaya and to help make Donald Trump a perfect president, when it's like, you're not even doing that now. You have 2 months left, and you're still saying you're going to filibuster, not let him pick a Supreme Court justice. You're going to not let him pass anything. So... this I don't think.
What's really got me concerned is I hope that this whole Donald Trump as president thing doesn't turn into a modern day civil war. Because let me tell you, because it's so divided now. Literally, he won by what? 55 electoral votes?
I can't remember, but Hillary Clinton won the popular vote.
Yeah,
that's what got people mad.
Exactly. And what makes it so bad is that those 55 electoral votes is literally 2 or 3 states, probably. Well, and it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be, instead of a North versus South thing, it's gonna be a.
It's still gonna probably be a North versus South
thing. Yeah, but it's probably gonna be a minority versus.
White people.
Okay, yeah, I didn't want to say privilege. The privilege, and it's down to that. And I could, because the people who voted for Donald Trump are not the people who support Hillary Clinton. Excuse me, my sinuses, podcast world. But Hillary Clinton or the third party, they're not the people.
And what I think was very interesting was. Just looking, like I said, go back to the statistics of all those white people that voted for him. Like, you, in the upcomings of the election, before the election happened, people were like, oh, Donald Trump, he's crazy. Oh, he's never going to win, stuff like that. But those were the same people sneaking back there and putting their little vote in. I guess they thought it wasn't going to matter and it wasn't going to affect nothing. But it's just crazy. But I agree. I think, I don't know if it's going to be a civil war, but I think it's time. It will open up more conversations again, maybe, because when Obama became president, they said racism is over, and really? The police brutality stuff happened. They said it was nothing, that. And so now we can maybe have a conversation. Even though now they're saying, well, we just voted for Trump because he had economic policies. Which, like, what are his policies?
I don't get that. First of all, how are you saying that you voted for someone based on their policies? But only a few policies, not all of their policies. You know what I mean? Okay, that's ridiculous to me. You can't vote for a racist, sexist person and say, well, hey, I'm not racist or sexist. I just want a job. What?
My thing is, I kind of feel sad for the people because they really think, like, I knew Hillary Clinton wasn't going to do nothing, but I know Donald Trump definitely ain't finna help nobody because he has never in his life experienced probably working hard for anything or being poor.
Wasn't he born into...
His family was rich. He got like $1 million loan to start a business.
He didn't start his company. His dad
gave him the loan.
His dad started his company.
Yeah.
And how are you trusting somebody to handle... Like President Obama said, how are you going to trust somebody with nuclear codes, but you can't trust him with his Twitter account?
His own Twitter account. Yep. It's crazy. But like I said, I think it will start a conversation, because now people are saying, because what really shook me was the white evangelical vote, 98%. Donald Trump. 98%. And sorry. These are the people 4 years ago, 8 years ago, saying we are the moral conservative party. We believe in biblical principles. We believe in this. We believe in that. The
biblical principles that had slavery.
But the thing is, like, Donald Trump is the antithesis of everything you say you for. He's had affairs. He's on his third wife. He has sexual abuse allegations. He's racist.
They don't care about any of that because they support his racist views.
But I'm just saying, it's just so hypocritical, and it just make you kind of just look at people.
A racist will vote for another racist who won't give them a job over a woman, over somebody who's not racist who will give them a job.
I mean, Hillary Clinton, that's debatable if she was racist, but I think the woman part plays into it as well.
A lot.
Because even you would get women, you would ask them, they'll say, I don't really trust a woman to lead. You're a woman. Like, you don't trust yourself?
You're not a good leader?
Like, you admit that you're emotional and you're off the chain. You don't have control of your emotions and whatever.
Tell it to Joan of Arc.
But women are leading families all the time by themselves. And women are leading schools and as principals, and they're leading governments and stuff like that all over the world except for America. And the fact that you just going against your own self is just crazy.
That's so... You're buying into the hype.
Yeah, it's like internalized misogyny.
You'll get upset if a man tells you can't do something because you're a woman, but you will tell another woman she can't do something because she's a woman.
That's crazy. And they just voted out of there, especially the white woman. That's what surprised me. Like,
it didn't surprise me. It didn't. I already knew this. I remember when we first talked about this on the first time we had a political podcast. I said that all the white people are gonna vote him in, and because they want to change, they want to make America great. But really, who really should be on the lookout are those white women who vote for him. Because if you get rid of, he wants to get rid of Mexicans. He wants to send African Americans back to Africa. He wants to. He did.
He didn't say that.
He said ship them back to where they came from.
No, he didn't.
You didn't see? It was. It is. It's a news. It's a clip. It's a clip.
A video.
It's a video clip.
No, I'll have to check that out.
He said send them back where they came from. It's
But yeah, keep going.
And he was saying that he wanted to send Muslims back to their country. And when you get rid of the minority. Then you get rid of what the minority, including Black, Chinese, Arabic, all of that. Then you have what? Gay people left. Oh, get rid of them too. Then you have who's a minority? Once you get rid of all the other minorities,
it's the women, white women.
Right? So I said this, unless the white women want to go back to the Leave It to Beaver moments where they can't be the CEOs they are now, where they can't be running corporations like they do now, or stockbrokers or lawyers or whatever you choose to do, then you want to vote for somebody who's not going to take your rights away. And they white women especially didn't understand that. Hey, you might not be a minority,
but you are.
You are a minority. You know what I'm saying?
You might not, because
you might not consider yourself one.
Minority means that there's not a lot of you, but there can be a lot of you, and you can still be a minority. Like, women are there are more women in the earth than men, but men have power over women, and they're able to discriminate against them and getting jobs or whatever, and they, misogyny and sexism is still apparent.
You're not equal. I don't understand this. How do white women not consider themselves a minority when we have all these talks about equal pay and how things should be equal for us, but they're not a minority?
I don't know.
That's stupid.
I guess
that's living so much in your own world that you don't recognize anybody else's.
I agree. Now, I want to go to this one point, and we're going to end on the Donald Trump, but I just want to just laugh at these people because Donald Trump, he ain't even elected in the office now, and he's already backpedaling on a lot of his stuff. Like, for instance, what was his number one thing? What was the thing that got him?
Make America Great?
Not even that. Building the wall.
Oh,
he was going to build. I'm going to build the best wall. It's going to be the most perfect wall. It's going to keep all the people there. Now, do
it again, Gabby. Do it again.
Y'all just repeat the podcast. So now, even though people have been saying this forever, you can't build a wall because that wall is going to go across people's property. There's rivers. You can't build a wall over a river. The border patrol can't see over a huge wall. They can't see who's coming in. So now he was like, well, now we're discussing a fence, which they already have a fence, but it's going to be a 2-layer fence. So there's going to be a fence here, and I guess give it enough space, and there's going to be another fence. But that's just so funny because that was his biggest thing. I'm going to build a wall, and I'm going to make the Mexicans pay for it. And everybody was like, that's not plausible, but it helped him get votes. And people didn't care that it didn't make sense.
My preacher told me that Donald Trump is more democratic than we think. Do you believe that that's true?
I mean, he is, but the only thing is he's surrounding himself, and his cabinet is going to be filled with conservative Republicans. So he's going to be influenced by those people. He might not listen, but you kind of still got to keep an eye on them people because they will end up influencing him.
Unless he pays for them to vote another way. You know, he has money.
I know, but I'm just saying if you have people in your cabinet, you have That's something else I wanted to bring up. The J.P. Morgan CEO, which I don't know if people know about this, but Hillary Clinton was considering putting the J.P. Morgan CEO in her cabinet. And during the campaign, Donald Trump was like, oh, no, he's a terrible banker. He's a bad banker. He's not for the people. And now come to find out he's finna put him in his cabinet. So, like, all that capitalism and stuff that he said he was against, he's not against capitalism because he is a billionaire. And he is going, if he is not paying taxes and he enjoys tax breaks and he enjoys pretty much paying these politicians to do what he wants them to do, what makes you think he's not finna get money from these politicians? What makes you think he's not finna put their interests above yours? And that's what would just racks my brain. I would understand if Donald Trump was just like a working class, middle class man who's like, I'm finna make America great again. No, this is a billionaire who throughout the decades been paying politicians to do favors for him and to get in with these people. What makes you think he's not going to be as corrupt as he was?
I don't understand how you don't. That's it's how. Let me just say, and then I'm going to end this before we go to some speculation. But how do you not think that Donald Trump isn't a corrupt individual when he is? Of course he's rich, right? Mm-hmm. Not rich, but like wealthy. Mm-hmm. And how do you think this rich, wealthy man has no influence and doesn't take any type of bribe when he is literally friends with Putin?
Yeah. Friends with Wall Street bankers that crashed America. Like
how are you? That's like saying you're not friends with the bully, but everybody's scared of you as much as the bully.
These comparisons, though,
right? Am I wrong? Am I right?
I know what you're talking about.
The podcast world. Do you get me? Silence. Let them answer.
Type it in the comments if you get her. Exactly. I think that's what I was saying. It's just people were just caught up in the emotionalism. They like to say black people are caught up in emotionalism. But I think they were just so caught up in the emotionalism of somebody's talking to me. He really cares about me. Some billionaire who doesn't even know your name. He's finna make America great again. Some dude who's never had any experience in politics at all. Doesn't even know most of these policies.
Dude who already has it great.
And so, yeah. So one last thing. Let's talk about the potential repercussions of what can happen with the a Trump presidency. One of the main things is he ain't finna send nobody back to no Africa or nothing like that. But he has started the culture of anti-immigrant. Like if your president is saying all the Mexicans coming here are rapists and whatever, and I'm finna bring you back jobs.
But he's the one who has a sexual assault charge.
And he's the one who uses these undocumented immigrants to build his towers, and he's saying, China makes too much of our stuff. We need to make it in America. He's the one. His hats, "Make America Great Again," are made in China. Ooh. So this dude is just, they don't care. And if you don't care, I don't care, I guess. But just know we finna fight. We ain't finna fight like that, but we gonna fight ideologically. We finna fight politically, and we gonna
socially.
We gonna do whatever we can,
spiritually.
And don't get mad. Don't call us crybabies, because we are.
Just
folks did cry, but
or attack us with dogs.
If you do that, I just want to make a side note. I'm finna get my gun license very soon, even though we just made a podcast about guns. But
my mother's telling me I need to get one, like she's making me get one.
Get one. We're gonna have Talk It Out brand guns, right? I think we need it now, because these folks, they just going. No, KT said she want a gun too, so everybody hypocrite. We all gonna have guns. We have about 20 guns, AR-15s, even though we were just talking about it.
And somebody told me the reason why people get so many guns. Somebody said, well, really, my daddy. I said, well, why do you need 2 and 3? He was like, I can't be the only one shooting if something goes wrong.
So just throw it to somebody.
He said, yeah, exactly. But it made sense to him, so I'll say it makes sense to me.
Right, all right. Thank you. All right, so I think that's enough for. Oh, one last thing. Donald Trump said he probably ain't even going to repeal Obamacare, because he said there's some stuff in Obamacare that he actually likes. And that's the last thing I wanted to bring up. So there's not going to be a wall. He's probably not going to repeal Obamacare, and yada, yada, yada. So now let's go to our main topic, which is, has society become too soft? Now, after the election happened, everybody was saying, oh, these liberals, they're crying because they're going to lose their safe spaces, and we're becoming less politically correct. And
safe spaces?
I told you to look that up. So they were saying all this stuff, like we need to be coddled, and we're so sensitive. So my question is, has America become too sensitive? And I want to bring up some things, and I want to hear your view on them. So the first thing is, a lot of times when people are critiquing us, they call us social justice warriors, and they critique trigger warnings. And now there's this meme where it's just like somebody says something, and then it's like somebody's face, and it's like triggered, and it's supposed to be funny or whatever.
Let me see. I'm going to see if it's funny.
Look up triggered memes. So pretty much for people that don't know, trigger warnings are disclaimers that are put in front of something. It could be a post or a video or podcast, where you put them up when you're going to talk about sensitive topics, maybe topics that might offend or might bring back some negative memories or something like that. So, for instance, we put a trigger warning up when we discuss rape, because there might have been people that are survivors of rape that when they hear about it, it kind of brings back those memories. So we want to tell them beforehand. Or trigger warning, just stuff like that. So, what do you think? Do you think trigger warnings are useful? Do you think it's just coddling people and making people too sensitive, or what do you think?
I think it's useful and not useful.
Okay,
I think it's useful in the way that, like, if it's something, not a sensitive subject, but something that that is a sensitive subject. Mm-hmm. Like, I know that's why I say it is, but it isn't. So listen to the podcast, really hear me out. When I say sensitive subject, I mean something like rape, abuse, something,
murder.
Murder, something, pedophilia, something violent, or a criminal act like that. But when you say trigger warnings for being offensive, I don't feel that we should have to do trigger warnings for being offensive to people or to organizations, simply because Fox News is offensive on a regular basis, and they put no trigger warning out. You know what I mean? Like, they don't say trigger warning, you might be offended by these next comments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
and they're really offensive to people. And I don't feel like you need a trigger warning for offensiveness.
What if it's like somebody from the say something? They're showing a video of somebody being really, really racist, like from the 60s, calling black people like the N-word or something like that. What if you think they put like a trigger warning hate speech or trigger warning anti-black speech or something like that? I mean, when it all comes down to it, nobody's getting hurt by typing those little letters.
Instead of trigger warning, we could just skip that and put what is the television disclaimers like they have on TV, DS, LW, drugs, sex, violence.
but that's what I was going to tie it into, because we have trigger warnings, but they're just named something else. That's why we have ratings on TV. That's why on movies they tell you if there's going to be a rape scene or a sex scene or drugs and alcohol. They tell you. But
it's for things like that. It's not for being offensive. I don't feel like we should be sensitive to somebody who's not sensitive to us.
Well, I mean, most of the time I see trigger warnings. They're not just saying trigger warning offensive, not just rape or something like that. Sometimes they say trigger warning hate speech.
Okay,
trigger warning. Like if somebody is cutting themselves or talking about anorexia. That's most of the things I've seen on Tumblr. I don't know what these other people have seen. Maybe they, when you kind of go down Tumblr, it kind of gets to the extreme. Like, but that's what I've seen. But even that stuff, they're like, well, y'all are just being babies and being too sensitive and need to suck it up.
Been through anything.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's from a point of privilege that you would say, because I've never been anorexic. I've never suffered any traumatic abuse. So if I probably wouldn't need a trigger warning, even sometimes I don't want to see it though, But I can't speak for somebody that has, because that might spark some PTSD type stuff, and they might go into the withdrawal.
If you don't sit a soldier down who just came back from war with PTSD and say, "Hey, we're finna go watch what is the word?
Saving Private
Ryan." You don't do that. That would be complete. You would call that insensitive.
Yeah.
So if that's insensitive, if someone who is overcoming alcoholism or drug addictions or anything like that, or somebody who tried to commit suicide, if you're gonna watch a movie or you're gonna read something or listen to something that has mentions of suicide or may refer to it in a funny whatever it is, because you have free speech to do whatever, but whatever it is that may be sensitive to them, it's a good thing to say, hey, trigger warnings, including blah 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 blah. Simply because I don't want someone saying, hey, Talk It Out talked about this sex, rape, violence, talking about what's that boy name?
Nate Parker.
Talking about Nate Parker, and I just had a flashback and I tried to kill myself, and I totally blame Talk It Out podcast. Like, you don't do that.
Even from like a legal standpoint, But people they criticize it. I think, and one story came up that I remember sometime mid this year of a college where they were allowing, I think it was a criminal justice class, but it was like a one-on-one. So it was like a lot of people took it. They didn't even have to be criminal justice majors. So they were having a class, and they talked about rape. And the teacher told them, like, if they gave them like a heads up and was like, if you want to leave, you can. And people were being outraged by that. Now, me personally, I think if the teacher thought that their information wasn't vital for like a test or something like that and told them they could leave, what's the problem? But people kind of said, well, they're coddling them and rape happens, so sometimes you got to listen to it and hear it. But, I mean, if the teacher says you can leave and you don't want to listen to that, I don't think there's a problem with that. What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah,
it's not a problem. That's somebody, people who are not sensitive to other people, or who don't want to say that who say that it's too sensitive. What? Come on down now. Those are literally people who have had everything in life. So if you go through life with everything, with people who have everything, then nobody builds any empathy for people.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I agree.
And if you don't have any empathy, there's no way you can have any sympathy.
Oh yeah.
The only thing people have any empathy about are people who are the one thing people can feel empathy about is death, because everybody dies.
Yeah. Even then, sometimes people don't be. Some people just terrible.
Yeah, those are some people, but most people feel something about death. But just because you haven't been through anything in your life, or you grew up a certain way, and like I know one of my friends. Oh my gosh, I have to bring her down to reality a lot, because she's worse than me. Like she'll say something and I'll be like, jaw slack jaw, however you say that.
Lockjaw?
No, slack jaw. Like,
what does it mean? Oh, okay. Just like your mouth open.
Like open mouth. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, why are you saying this? Like, or my family. Oh, googly moogly, my family. Like, someone in my family, not on my mama's side. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. But someone in my family said something offensive, and they're young, and they're young. When I say they're young, I mean they're young.
Yeah.
But old enough to understand if somebody had taught them, but nobody did. And they said something like, what did they say? Trigger warning. What did they say? Oh, I asked them, did they watch something? Because I'm obsessed with Empire.
Yeah.
Like, if you are a friend of mine, you know I'm obsessed. I love it.
Yeah.
And Taraji P. Henson is my hero. But my family member said, I said, do you watch Empire? And his response was, I don't watch those shows with the faggots on there.
Ooh.
And I was just like I couldn't even believe that came out of his mouth. Like, what? And what was so worse is that I was so embarrassed because he said it in front of my friends.
Ooh.
And I was just like, what? First of all, I was shocked that he said it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my God, you said it in front of everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, what? I was having a mental Lizzie McGuire moment. Because it was ridiculous to me. I was like, and then before I could recover to say anything, my friends, well, let me tell y'all why it was really embarrassing, because not only was my friend there, but a friend of hers was there, and we were meeting each other for the second time. And whatever we had, was trying to make good impressions on each other. Yeah. He did not make a good impression on. Anyway, but she said she recovered faster than anybody, and she said, "Oh, so are you that emasculine that you can't watch a show because somebody's gay in it? Are you that scared? And what she said, what did she say? She said, are you that curious that you can't watch a show with somebody else in it? Like, like if it bothers you that much, it must mean you're thinking about it. Like, and he was like, no. And he was like, what? He really didn't understand why the whole table was like, what? He's like, oh, well, my bad. I was like, first of all, the way he said it was so sarcastic. My bad. I was like, please don't. I was like, dude, like, that's so insensitive. Like, why would you say, like, not even insensitive, that's so
rude,
derogatory, and it's wrong. It's like, I said, that's like calling black people nigger. Like, why would you do that? And he was like, it's not that bad. I was like, yeah, it is that bad, because that's who these people are. Like, why are you like, and he was just like, okay, I get it.
Well, that's also the thing, because I think a lot of times a lot of these people that are crying about us being so sensitive and stuff, they probably had experiences where they've said something out of line and they get called out on it. And maybe they've been embarrassed, or maybe they felt bad, or they got offended that somebody corrected them. So now they're like, they so sensitive, you can't say whatever you want. Freedom of speech. So I think, I don't know. But
for those people who are saying that, don't be upset when somebody says something to you. You know, it's a two-way street.
Right.
If you want to talk about insensitivity. Don't like. Oh, I got a lot of stories. Like one person said to me, I was in class one day, and somebody was literally saying, it was a white dude, and he was like, "Man, y'all just so insensitive, you know, like chill, cut back, relax." And what make it so bad is he was a soldier, and I said something. Everybody knows that, like, I support the soldiers. I may not support the war, but I do support the soldiers, and I made that fact known. I was like, I don't see a point for this war. I feel like it's stupid, blah blah blah. People are dying for no reason. And he just got upset. He was like, he said something. He was like, how would you know? You've never been in war. I was like, it's not stupid. He was like, he was just going all over the place. And I was like, and then I raised my hand to talk to the teacher because I felt like I couldn't speak. And she said, yes, Lexus. And she told him to be quiet. And I said, well, I never said that soldiers were stupid. I said that this war was stupid. And do you know why you're fighting? He said, for my country. And I'm like, well, that's fine. That's dandy. But do you know the economic, social, and real reason you're fighting? And he was like, what is that supposed to mean? And he was like, no. So basically, after we broke it down, and he was like, yeah, okay, well, that is not a great reason to go to war, but we have to support each other. I said, I do support you. Exactly. I send you multiple care packages a year. And he was like, oh, okay. And then he realized what he was doing. And then I said, at the end of it, I said, and what is that you just said about sensitivity?
Right. That's what gets me. Like, these people that be like, America's becoming too politically correct. We're becoming too politically correct. As soon as you call them a racist, oh my gosh, you're a racist for calling me a racist, and they get like so sensitive. As soon as you call them a bigot,
I can't believe you did that. Everything gets race nowadays.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
The truth of the matter is, everybody is sensitive about something. We all have lived experiences, and some things just hurt us more than it hurts somebody else. Now, the thing is, with that sensitivity, will you let it bog you down so you can't do nothing because you always getting offended or something, or do you just rise above it and you just take it with stride or whatever? I think that's the main thing, because when you get to it, everybody has something. They might say, oh, black people are so sensitive, but let you say something about them being poor, somebody being poor, that's not right, whatever, they get offended by that. Or let somebody say something about where you work or how much money you make, or some, everybody gets offended. I think it's just about, like I said, us learning from each other. I think the more education you get,
and being nice,
just being decent human beings, like, golly, does it hurt that much?
It does. One thing I do want to say, for people who don't know what a trigger warning is, like, you know what it is, but for anybody who has a problem with it, it's really basically a description of content. It's a trigger warning, according to Google, is a statement at the start of a piece of writing, video, or etc., alerting the reader or viewer to the fact that it contains potentially distressing material, often used to introduce a description of content. Yep. It's literally a description of content.
That's it.
Don't get so sensitive about a trigger warning.
Right. You're getting sensitive about somebody being sensitive. Like, what? Inception sensitivity. So here's another thing that has been coming up. Safe spaces, and I know you really weren't familiar with it. Safe space pretty much is, it's not even a physical space, but let's say us in college. Let's say it wasn't like pretty much an HBCU and it didn't have a whole bunch of black people. Let's say it was like a predominantly white college, and there was only like a handful of black people. A safe space would be a black student group where black people can come together and they can talk about their problems and just be with other black people.
Like a place where you identify with another person.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what people are upset about now? We have identifiable friends?
No, but it's not even that. But now I think the problem is they're saying colleges now. People are saying they demand safe spaces. I don't think you should demand it. I think you should create it. I don't think you have to go to a college and say, I demand a black student union. No, you're black. Get some black people around and do it. You're LGBT.
Or you're white. Get some white people around and do it.
If you think you need a safe space for being white.
Yeah. Look, don't laugh. Some people do. Some people feel like they do. Like,
I mean, if you're in HBCU, maybe.
No, some people feel like, okay, look, if we can experience distressing about everyday life on them, they can be like, well, dang, everything we do seems to be, give them a place to vent.
That's
to prevent
everywhere in life.
Well, I'm just saying. Let
me tell you a story. It's kind of off topic, but we were talking about safe spaces and about there being a lot of white people everywhere. I remember in high school there was this girl who she was a daughter of one of the high school teachers, and she was like, yeah, one time I went to South Memphis to this chicken restaurant.
Ooh.
And I was so amazed because that was the only time I was the minority in any place. She had never been the only white person anywhere ever in her entire life.
Exactly.
That mind boggled me. And you live in Memphis, which is a majority black. But that's off topic. But back to safe spaces. Are you looking it up?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, back to safe spaces. I don't think there's a problem with it. And people tie that into the narrative that we're being sensitive. And most of the time it's white men or white people in general. Of course, they probably not gonna need a safe space if they white and straight, because they're not really dealing with anything that they just got to vent to their white brethren about. Maybe they do. I mean, that's what Twitter's for.
I lost my job. Oh my gosh.
You can vent that to everybody. I mean,
know, right? Oh my gosh, my mom's getting on my nerves. I can't stand.
And even then, I mean, you got country clubs and stuff like that. That's your safe space. And
okay, that's a little.
People are just that. That's the thing about empathy. If you empathize with somebody, you see their plight. You see that black people, LGBT people, Muslim people, they have to deal with all types of crazy stuff every day. Even the smallest things that they have to deal with every day, and the big things like being called the N-word, getting their hijab getting taken off their head. Like we just want a place where we can just chill with other people and don't have to worry about all those other stresses of the day. Is it realistic? Are we going to live in a world where everybody is safe? No. That's why we're doing it here. Like, I don't see why. It's not costing you money. It's not costing you time. It has nothing to do with you. Why are you being offended by my safe space?
Gabby feels strongly.
I'm just saying it just
why
gets on my
are
nerves.
You offended by Gabby's safe space?
It's safe and it's my space, so get to it. What did you find?
Nothing.
You find
to be when you type in that, it's just what is a safe space? The first story is about this. I can't pronounce. Miss Mikisiki volunteer. You know. Miss Mikisi. Forgive me. MITSKI. Volunteer her show as a safe space for POC
people of color.
Oh, people of color and LGBT fans in red states. That's the only thing.
So like in Republican states, she had her radio station for.
Who was that?
I don't know, something like that. For people of color and LGBT, I guess people to vent.
So, what is it meant by safe space? It's a place where anyone can relax and be able to fully express without fear of being made to feel uncomfortable, unwelcome, or unsafe, or on account of biological race, sex, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identity, or expression, cultural background, blah blah blah, and a lot of other things.
So that's pretty much what it is. It's like when a black student union. That's pretty much the.
Who said anything about a black student union?
But no, I'm saying that is an example of a safe space.
Oh, okay.
Black people coming together where they can just be black.
First of all, if you're demanding your own student union as a safe space, that's ridiculous. First of all, how you expect a college to build a building just for black people?
No, it's not a building. A safe space. That's why I say it's not a physical building. It's just a time.
You said a
student
union.
No, not a building. No, it's called a black student union.
Oh,
not a student union building.
Okay. Like, I was confused. Like, why would you? Like, that's ridiculous. That's like asking God to come down and walk on water for you. That's ridiculous.
Right. That's too much. But yeah, let's see. So our last question, we kind of already touched on it. Do you think America's becoming too politically correct?
Correct. America is not politically correct whatsoever. They're never politically correct. Ever. America has always been. And you know what's so strange? For us to be so uptight, we are literally one of the uptightest countries in the whole world. Everywhere else, they're pretty chill, pretty, again, except for China, which is coming around.
Yeah.
It's coming around.
Everybody eventually, I think they're going to come around, hopefully.
And we're so far behind mentally as a nation, socially as a nation. Like, I don't understand how America even has allies anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's because we're a superpower and they're scared.
I don't know how. How are we a superpower? Explain.
Because of our military. That's it. We spend more money in military than all the other countries.
Somebody explains this to me. How is our military so powerful?
Because we spend like all of our budget on that. That's why we don't have money for the poor people. That's why we can't. That's why people, they taxes and stuff so high, because we spend all the money on the military. And Donald Trump said he wants to increase the military. They just
build
occupy.
Bombs.
They occupy places. I think that's how they keep their power.
Spy.
They spy, but occupy.
I want to be a spy. I want to be a spy.
Off topic. Do it. Do it. I said I could become a part of the FBI because I don't look my age, and I can be like a spy, like a CIA person.
You could go to high school again.
Yes, like forever.
Spot the next Columbine.
Jump
21 Jump Street.
21 Jump Street. Yeah,
I can too.
We can do it.
Yeah,
that's our new thing. I think the podcast, we're gonna do it for a little bit, but then eventually we're gonna become CIA agents, and you're not gonna hear from us again.
No,
I mean, you might see us again, but we won't be the same person.
How are they gonna see us? They've never seen our faces.
Well, you might see us for the first time, and you wouldn't know who we were anyway because you ain't seen us. Okay.
Ooh,
got him,
Gabby.
She
had a joy moment.
But yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Let's see how long this episode was. Let's edit this out.
We didn't even do an introduction.
I said Joy and Gabby here. KT ain't here.
We did.
Oh, okay, it's about 53 minutes. All right, so this no. audibletrial.com/talkitout. Can't forget about the good old Audible. Sign up for a free 30-day trial where you have access of over 180,000 different audiobooks and one free audiobook download. Sign up now. audibletrial.com/talkitout. Also, social media. Facebook.com/talkitoutpodcast. Instagram.com/talkitoutpodcast. SoundCloud.com/talkitout. Hit us up on our email, talkitoutpodcast@yahoo.com. We love to hear from you. And we got to shout out some people. Conversation Con Artists, of course. Wokel Kids, of course. John Effect Podcast, of course.
Of course.
The Wind Down.
Ooh.
The Drunken Knights.
I always like that name.
The Master Debaters. The Bag Ladies. Yes, the Bag Ladies. Yes. She's not a podcaster, but she shouts us out every single Tuesday for Podcast Tuesday. I'm Just Jackie. Yes.
Oh.
I'm Just Jackie. Thank you so much for hitting us up every single week. We love you, and thank you for your support.
Hope it continues.
Let's see who else.
And Series Lee.
Yes, Series Lee. Yes.
Super PP time.
Super PP time. We love you, Super PP time.
That's hilarious to me.
Their podcasts are hilarious. They do this thing where they record their voices and they like change it so it's like alien people. It's very funny.
Life comes at you
like comes at you. Just everybody. Just thank you so much. Like I said every time, we couldn't do this without you. Our podcast is growing, and we're not really even
sure how it's growing.
Exactly.
So fast.
Also, y'all keep us posted, because we have this initiative we want to do for this coming up holiday season, where we help the homeless, and we'll let you know a little bit more about that in the upcoming episodes, and how you can become involved. It's a really, really big deal. So I think that's pretty much it. So, did you have anything people want to shout out? Any other things? All right,
I said what I wanted to say.
All right. So, and KT will be back. We love you, KT. Come back.
Always and forever.
Always and forever.
Oh Lord, everything's a song.
All right. So this was Gabby
and Joy.
I'm about to say KT. And this is Talk It Out. Talk it out. Talk it out. Talk it out. Talk it out.